Good morning, everybody. This is Joe Neiman from ACV. I am joined by my friends Michael Della and Joe Ruddy from the Della Automotive Group, and they are customers of ACV, partners of ours, and they sell a ton of cars with us, and we like to think they really like it, but we're going to ask their opinions. I'll let these guys introduce themselves, and Michael's the dealer principal, but maybe I just blew it for him. But
all right. Cover blown. Michael Della from Della Auto Group. It's a family-run business. Got two brothers, sister, my dad. Everyone's really involved in the business. I started out running stores. Ran a Honda store, ran a Buick store, GMC store, and moved to wholesale about 12 years ago, and have been doing it ever since. I love this part of the business. It's a lot of fun versus the retail end of things. So here we are, and the journey's been great. And this is my friend Joe Ruddy.
Hi there. I work for Michael. I help him do all the wholesale stuff, getting stuff ready to go, deciding where it's going to go, kind of that kind of thing. We pretty much just look at cars, move stuff around, figure out what we're going to do with it, if we're going to retail it or not. And the next move is wholesaling it, which is
what we come in,
end up
right?
doing. Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys spend the majority of your time really optimizing, right, extracting the most value out of the cars. That's the goal.
The goal is that, we've been in business for 35 years, and remember the old way of doing business. The wholesalers used to show up in the building, waste a whole day, and you were packaging cars together, everything you deemed not retailable. Mm-hmm. The business has changed quite a bit as we're sitting here, and we've seen it firsthand. We've attended, basically every auction across the country, and we know where things work, and we thought we had a pretty good grasp on it. And what happened was the internet. The internet changed everything. So here we are now, and I have to say it was our only go-to company because everyone approached us with it. We did a lot of OVE stuff. But it just wasn't really the same as what your platform was. And if I'm jumping ahead of you,
no, that's okay. I mean, this is all conversational. I mean, I guess I'll back up a little bit here. And you started talking about the Della group, but this is a good sized group. How many new car rooftops?
We have 11 rooftops now. 11 franchises. We employ about 330 people. She's retailing, 6,000 cars a year and wholesaling another 3,000. So it's a lot of there's a lot of movement going on. Here.
So not an easy. Well, I mean, I think it was a pretty easy switch to make, but I think when we go and talk to dealers about using ACV, there's a lot of apprehension about like rocking the apple cart. Like, well, I don't want to change my process because I already have people doing this, and I have trucks lined up to move the cars, and so there's a lot of like anxiety about, or fear of the unknown of changing. And I know, I think it took 8 months to get you guys on board from start to finish, which is totally normal. That's nobody's fault. But maybe if we could, I'd love to be able to show this to other dealers so they can get comfortable saying like, oh, geez, if an 11-store group that's wholesaling 3,000 cars a year can get comfortable with this, maybe we should look into it a little more.
Yeah, it was a hard decision. I got to be honest with you because, we have always been about 11, 12 years ago probably. We went from absolutely no more wholesalers in the organizational group to doing our own thing. We went to the bid process where we tried to hold our own auctions on campus, and shipping everything to one location, which is this location here. We started it actually up at the Lincoln store up on Route 9. That was probably 15 years ago. So we started this process a long time ago, starting to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And we saw a giant swing in the money just from that, which was crazy because the wholesalers coming in and out of your store, your money they're paying you for the car versus you starting to do it yourself and bringing everything in for yourself was it was awesome. I mean, really, I want to say it was probably $300,000 just in our first years, and this was 15 years ago.
Wow.
So now as the process has been coming to around with the internet, we're changing how we do business as well.
Kind of the next evolution.
It's kind of is, and like it said, it took a long time for us to really see value in your organization, only because I was an auction guy. We went to Mannheim, we went to Southern, we went to all these auctions, and those auctions are still great. We still use them, and we still attend every week. We buy, we sell, but the process with ACV is just really awesome and seamless, and I'm sold on it now. I wasn't. You have a pretty, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for.
Aggressive. It's got to be complimentary.
Yeah,
hungry.
it's just, and Barb would not give up until I gave her a couple of cards. Persistent.
That's the word
There's a
we want.
Persistence pays on Barbara's
persistent
end.
pays off. So here we are,
Yeah.
and we're loving the process. I mean, I'm sure if you want me to get into the process of how we do it here, that'd be great too, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, either one of you can answer. But what was the process before? Before we came in, I think it's good to lay out, because you guys had a solid process locked in.
So
What'd that look
all
like?
all the rooftops get shipped down to here.
Okay.
This is our Mazda store. It's on Quaker Road in Queensbury. Everything gets shipped to here. Once it's shipped to here, we sort through it.
Okay.
We have buy here, pay here stuff through CAC. So some of the stuff, not a lot of it, but most of it, we all look at it through the shop. We see if we can retail it, because that whole end of it has changed. Well, we didn't retail 100,000 mile cars. It just didn't happen. So as we started retailing these type of cars, and looking at them in the shop, we're finding that some of them don't pass, and just not they're just not going to work for us, because either they're too expensive for the program, or they're just not right for the area, whatever. And so then what we would do is we would set an auction.
Yep.
And we'd pick which auction we were going to. We'd use OVE, we'd use Mannheim and Albany, we'd use Southern and Connecticut. We'd go to Newburgh. Really all of them. We'd even go to York. All the little auctions around
really,
Yorkmont. Even when they first started going. So we were all over the place.
Yeah, and the effort is always to try and extract the most money out of a car. But it's
And the best part is, there's only two of us. Yeah, there's only two of us for 3,000 cars a year. And our time is spread very thin throughout all these stores anyway. To try and help everybody out, put numbers on cars. So I think that's what Michael's saying is it's very time consuming, running everything, getting everything where it needs to be, making the decisions.
Yeah, and when you're not in the store, if you're at auctions, this is what I dealt with when I was in retail, but when you're at auctions 2-3 days a week, like what's going on at the store, and the cars that you want to get checked out, and you might personally want to walk underneath when it's on a lift, the mechanic's just saying, oh no, it's no good, and you're going,
I don't think so.
I don't think so,
I want that car. I know what it is. Yeah.
But yeah, you can only be in one place at a time.
Yeah. And so then the process began. We would bring them all to Mannheim, all to Connecticut, and they would kind of bounce around and go to different spots. And as we all know, auctions are they
Hit or miss.
hit or miss. Sometimes the same people are in the same lanes buying the same cars, and you're selling to the same group of people, and that's what started happening to us. We started seeing the same people buying our cars every week, week in, week out. No new people coming in. So we were kind of like, all right, are we getting the most money for our car?
But even just the fact that you guys study that, right? You study the block slips.
Oh, yeah.
That's
You and I both know that there's some characters of that auction. When you see them running around your lane, you're like, oh, Jesus, this guy again, And so it's been, that was the process. And, like I said, we did a bid as well. We tried to get people here, but the same people were showing up. So it's, the internet has changed that dramatically. It's crazy what's going on right now and who's looking at our cars. And for that matter, what time they're buying our cars. That's the biggest part. You find out this guy, out west is going to buy, at 10 o'clock at night, and here is buying like right after work when they're maybe, who knows, they're sitting at a bar at happy hour. You just never know,
okay.
and it's been working wonderful for us, really.
okay.
I can go into the process with you guys. Really, it's easy. It's made his job a lot easier. Joe used to take all the pictures of everything. If it was going to go online, he used to, we had to do basically our own CRs for these cars. So,
Yeah, again,
one guy doing this and not catching everything. You know.
Oh, come on. Really?
Right. Not being
maybe
able
intentionally.
To see, yeah.
Human error.
Not being able to see, you know, what people are looking for, and the cars would get shipped after they got bought, and then, you know, you're fighting with people trying to.
You're getting a call from a guy in California saying,
I got
"You're
your
buying
car.
this back," and we're in New York going, "What?"
What are you talking about? Well, you didn't disclose this. What do you mean? You know, we needed to disclose that. Well, according to, you know, XYZ auction, you do. You know, so it's really streamlined the process quite a bit, and it's made this a lot easier. So, but the old process we were doing was working fine. But like I said, you know, the same people were buying the same cars.
Which raises a red flag, right? Like maybe we're not getting all the money that we can.
Definitely not. We're definitely not. And we saw it go down and go down and go down. You know, the money we were getting was going down, and our managers were the same. They're no different. They were appraising the car the same.
Yeah.
So that said, well, what's going on here? So here.
So you think the lane presence is less and less each week at the?
I absolutely believe it. Yep. You know, we have great luck at Southern Auto Auction. Not so much at Manheim anymore because that lane presence was gone at the one in Albany. But you know, certain cars need to be looked at, touched, sat in. We all know that. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those type of things. But you know, for the most part, the pictures, the descriptions, your process of loading them and taking, you know, the weight off my shoulder, because once the car is sold, it's sold, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Right. Titles get shipped out. It's really been great, and thus, you know, people from all over the country buying the cars. Yeah. I mean, this kid launches auctions at 11 o'clock at night, and you won't believe what we sell.
I do believe it, but it's most people wouldn't. You know,
you're right. You own the company,
until you know. So I guess, and I'd love to keep going forward here, but there's one question I really want to know. So 8 months of the, you know, our territory manager Barbara kind of wearing you down, but were there one or two value propositions that, you know, she kept hitting on that finally made you say we got to try this, or like what was the turning point to? Because and even today I know
I
we're
don't
not
remember this one though.
Well, no, I do, because you actually fought me on it. You didn't want to do it. You're a control freak. So, as we all are in this car business. So.
Well, sometimes if you have a process and you're so used to doing that process for so long, you don't want to change it. And I think that was my problem, is because we had everything so organized, everything so, you know, this is how I want to do it, this is how it's going to stay, I don't want to make changes. I think that's where you and I had our breakdown there.
Yeah. So it's just, you know, and actually what was happening is, you know, you had everyone approaching you about online auctions, and everyone had a different online auction, a different process, and a different.
So many people coming through
the door. Just you know, of all different ways that we can help you sell more cars, and we can help you buy more cars, and you know, this is our platform. This is, you know, and what I liked about the ACV platform is, I have a gentleman. His name's Bruce, and there's another guy that comes around from time. I don't know him as well, Michael. And he's our guy. You know,
your condition report writer.
Yep. And he's on our team. I think he works for us. You know, that's the way I feel, anyways. You know, he's taking pictures.
We're about to get him uniforms.
Yeah, you know, he's here 2 days a week, all day long. He does every car we have now. So every car we have, he does. And why I chose ACV is because really Barbara was very persistent and wanted me to try it, and says I was going to love it. But also, it took everything out of my hands. Okay, it took the picture taking, it took the CR, it took the arbitration risks. The only thing I had to be concerned with is getting the title and getting it out. Other than that, everything is direct deposited. It's a process that really no other organization that I saw at that particular time when we signed up had, and it helped us. It was a pretty easy decision at that point, and then we started rolling. I mean, we were doing 5 or 6 a week, bumped to 20. Now we're, you know,
so we're doing 30 a week.
Yeah, now it's sometimes 30 a week. Now, you know, 80. I'd love to do every car in there, but like I said, some cars just need that audience. You know, they're
well, and we're growing too, right? So like week to week, we add more and more buyers into our platform. So we're continuing to get better, but yeah, we're not saying we're perfect either.
Yeah, and also the reasoning is that I don't deal with the buyer. Not to say that I don't want to deal with the buyer, but I don't have to worry about it. The buyer doesn't really call me. You know, the only people we deal with is who's picking up the car. You know, other than that, your people take care of everything. That you call me if there's a problem. You know, the people doing all the ACHing.
We have our own team of
we have our
people.
own team of people working for us, which really, really helps.
They're the ones talking to the buyers saying, this is what they need. And then they call us and say, hey, instead of old-fashioned car guys being like, no, you're going to give me this. No, you're going to give me that. Like, this is what we're going to do. We're out. I don't have time for that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with it, you know?
And I think that's a transition, because a lot of people, they kind of crave that negotiation, haggling. A lot of people in the industry, the way things used to be, even me, and I think even you.
Yeah,
but when you kind of get it just off your plate and you go, oh, this really can just work more streamlined. This is just better.
Yeah. The best part is it's not, like, and I've actually seen you lose it at times arguing with someone about, you know, we don't need it. We don't have time for it. Right. You know, I want to be making money doing other things than worrying about $1,000 wholesale car that somebody wants to give me $800 for. I don't care. You know, that's where I'm at with it. I don't know how Michael feels, but
well, the other good thing about your platform is, you know, the ability to, you know, be basically doing anything you want to launch a car. You could be in the middle of lunch. You could be at dinner time. You could be on the couch with your kids and just say, let me launch a few cars. And it's a push of a button. And you don't even, I mean, you set your floor. You don't even need to watch it. I mean, you do watch it because it's kind of interesting to see what's happening and how many people are actually viewing it. And that's where, you know, knowing what to launch, when to launch, what time, because you can actually see who's, you know, there's 50 people looking at this car.
That's happened to us because we've been at dinner before and he'll bring up something, be like, what'd you ever do with that Civic? And I'm like, oh, I didn't sell that yet. And then he'll be like, get it online right now. And we're sitting there eating dinner, and I'm like, here you go. And then we're eating dinner, watching this,
while we're sitting there,
watching this thing sell.
And some of the, I guess that if you have like an audience of 50 or 60 people looking at your car online at any given moment, how is that any different than being in a lane? You know, it's actually better because there's people across the country. So, you know, your two-wheel drive truck is getting looked at everywhere, not just by those 2 or 3 people that want it.
Steal it from you.
In the Northeast. So it's worked, and your platform seemed to be the best fit for us as an organization.
Okay, so the current process, thank you, that's awesome to hear. I'm glad it's working. So the current process is we come in here, Bruce, your condition report writer, 2 days a week, probably bell to bell, right?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close to it. Bruce will be here at nighttime, and we, when the shop closes down, he'll bring cars inside and take pictures. You know, he's got full run of the shop. He's like one of us now. That's awesome. It's just that we know when he's going to be here. He's got our numbers. He communicates with Joe real well, and everything seems to be going great. I mean, I have really no complaints. I mean, of what the process is. If there's a problem, you or Barb or Will, any one of the big guys, that they'll call and say, hey, we got a problem. What can we do to fix it? And we fix it.
Right. And there's going to be problems. It's a car dealership. It's car business. Selling old cars and titles and everything. Yeah.
But it's good to have that reassurance though from like a big, company that, you have like Joe calling you, you have like Will calling you, you know what I mean? Like everybody's in communication. You know what I mean? Like everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's good too. Works out for us.
So the process is now, to get back to that, is Bruce comes and the cars that we are deemed wholesale and we're not gonna keep because we just don't have the buyer for them, we just don't want them, or they're not gonna work here. Everything goes on your site first, and he CRs every car in this lot and keeps a list of them. And as we get paperwork, because that's just the way we do things, we launch cars. We don't sell anything without paperwork, and that seems to be the best way to do it because I don't want to chase paperwork.
Yep.
So if the car is in my face still right here, I know that there's a problem. If I look out back, the car's been there 3 weeks, I'm still waiting on paperwork, I'm trying to get on top of it.
Yeah.
So, selling a car without paperwork, car's gone, now you forget about it. So that process works for us. And as we get the paperwork, we launch the cars. And we pretty much use all 4 of our launches before they will go anywhere else.
Yeah.
And then they go to auction, and sometimes the auction works better, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on.
Sometimes cars just need an audience.
So it's just you got to sit in it, you got to feel it, because that specific guy has a customer. But I feel that as your business grows and as this business model grows, the people are going to, everyone's going to be online. I mean, it's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, we've converted a lot of buyers to get comfortable buying on ACV when they weren't comfortable. I always say this: I never bought cars online. Never, ever, ever.
Neither did I. I still have a problem doing it.
I mean,
but as people become more comfortable with it, and they know that the company's there to back them up just in case there is a problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you guys buy cars on ACV too, right?
Yeah, we've bought a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought a few. Joe's still old school. He still likes to go to auctions and feel the cars and look at them.
Yeah.
The manufacturers have all gone online. Right. I mean, the cars that are at the auctions now, either with GM Financial, and every manufacturer has something online that you can go and buy these cars before they hit the auction. So when you go to auction, that's why people are fighting and paying a lot of money there, because these cars are by the time they get there, they're in either so much demand that they have to go there to make the most money, or that they're they're I don't want to say rejects, but the ones that no one wants.
Well, that's what I was going to say, and I think we're going to start to see that too as ACV grows. We sold over 10,000 cars the past 2 months. It's a scratch. We're scratching the surface of the total addressable market, but all those cars never went to auction. Anything we sold, that means if you were standing at the auction waiting for these cars to come down the lane, like you're kind of getting the ones that were picked over, right? I mean, the stuff that we don't sell for your group, it got exercised on ACV. I'm not saying it's a bad car, but if this many people passed on it, it's noteworthy, and I think that's a trend that's going to continue to happen. Is the stuff that sells upstream is probably the more, doesn't mean it's a better car, but more desirable, or the combination of the car versus the price or whatever, it got sold.
Anything off lease that you're buying at anywhere for that matter, it's already been picked over by most of the dealers.
That new car dealer was like, I can't use that car for a reason. I don't want to use that
car for a reason. So when you see them online, you just don't know. I mean, and we're adjusting as the market adjusts. It's hard to get a good, like, you take in a car that you don't know, not really nothing about. So you have the ability to go on ACV and kind of get its temperature, and which is nice, and a lot like a live appraisal of the car, which is fun to do. I mean, you can see, okay, this car is not worth that. I mean, what the hell is it worth?
Which we've used before for some of our appraisals on the weird stuff that comes in, where him and I have shook our head and gone, that thing ain't worth that. And then we put it on there, and it's
you have the ability,
we made a deal,
made a deal.
So.
But you have the ability to go back in. The month's not closed, so you can adjust a few things. Okay.
Right.
So it rather than waiting for the paperwork 6 weeks later, and then here you go trying to launch it on auction. So
yeah. So right now we're selling maybe half, a little over half your volume wholesale. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're only a couple months in.
Yep.
So that's a good trend.
We've been 6 months, I think, something like that.
6 to 8 months. I mean, it's really, honestly, the growth we've had with ACV over the period of time we've been with you is astonished me, because I was thinking 10, 15, 20 cars a month maybe, but it's not the case at all. I mean, we're selling cars.
Yeah.
And
probably in the neighborhood of 100 or so a month.
Oh, we're getting close.
Yeah,
I think we've been 80, 90. We've been pushing that 100.
What was that first day?
Barb's going to keep pushing you too.
Yeah. We will get to 100 cars with you for sure. I mean, I don't see how we don't.
The first day I sold like 20 cars. I called you. You were like, "You did what? How many did you sell?" I was like 20, and then that was the game changer. That day forward, I think, was the changer for it.
So I mean, like I said, we do probably 250 cars, give or take, a month, depending. And out of that wholesale, when I mean wholesale too, we wholesale in between our own group too. So if a store wholesales a car to another store, it's considered a wholesale to another store. Yeah. So the amount of cars actually making it to auction, you want to say like 180 maybe?
Yeah,
actually physically doing the auction thing. So you're probably getting over half at this point, which is great. Considering
if it's working for you, it's working for us.
Yeah, considering the time that we've been with you, and and it's funny because Barb and she's sitting over there. She didn't want to be on this with us.
Thanks, Barbara.
Thanks, Barbara. She was always like, let's do it. So I did it, and I always told her, I says, I'm going to give this at least 18 months, and I'm not going to do it anywhere else and have anyone else in here, which everyone's trying to get in here because they're all coming out with their new online, launching programs, which may be associated with ACV coming on so strong, or maybe not. I don't know the answer to that, but we don't do it with anyone else. We've stuck to our guns. We've stuck with ACV, and it's really paying off, like big time.
That's great.
We make. I don't think. I mean, when we lose money on ACV, it's because we made a mistake. That's the bottom line. It's not because of you not getting the buyer there. It's we made a mistake on what the car was actually worth.
Yeah. Yeah. So when it comes to, I guess, to me, the big question is, how do you measure success? How do you know that it's working?
When you're selling 25 cars a week on there.
So the cars are doing the money.
The cars doing the
Profitability
money,
is up
selling,
for wholesale?
We're making money. We're making money with the process, with the program. And when you bring cars to auction, you can say, okay, I had a good day. I lost 10,000, but I made 7,000 over here. So overall, we lost whatever for the day. With ACV, it's we're not putting them on there to lose money. Because the process is they're going there first, and if they're not going to,
we are a for-profit organization.
So they're making money on there, and you see it in the bottom line. I mean, I don't know what the figure is this year, but however long we've been with you, I mean, we typically, as every dealer does, you run a kind of a loss with wholesale. I would have to say we're 60 to 70% better this year than we were last year because of this process. We're selling maybe not as many cars because we are keeping quite a bit of cars for retail. Yep, but the cars we are selling, we're making money with them, which hadn't been the case in quite a while. So
wow, that's powerful.
That's powerful. Yep. So and it works, and having a car, your organization has been great. You don't have to. The cars leave. They don't even sit here. So I don't have to worry about them. Once the car is sold, boom, it's gone. Yeah. Which is fantastic for me because we have 300 cars, 400 cars out there at any given time, and it clogs a lot, especially during snow time. So that process has been great. I think it's a win-win for forever. I don't see it going away. I mean, it's definitely not going away.
No, I love it.
Yep, I do too, and it makes our lives a lot easier. And it's fun. It's fun to launch cars, and it's a lot of fun. And seeing what else is out there and what you need, and you go online, you look. As we get better with buying stuff online, we'll get more comfortable with it. But I'm an old car guy. It's the way it's been.
That's the generation we're all from, right?
Yeah, I mean, all three of us are, right?
Yeah.
We're like that transition. Now you see a lot of these younger guys coming up in their 20s that are becoming used car managers. They want nothing to do with the auction. They want nothing to do with going to a physical auction. We're the old school ones still hanging on, but really we're transitioning too. I mean, that's why I really wanted to talk to you guys, because I knew that this was we didn't just walk in, you rolled out the red carpet, go, I've just been waiting for ACV. Like, first of all, territory manager, Barb had to work hard to win you guys over. Mm-hmm. And then, still skeptical, and we'll try, and we'll put 5 a week on there. We've incrementally built the thing. It's not like you handed us the keys to the castle. I think we've earned it, and worked at this together like partners.
Yeah, well, when we first started doing it, this knucklehead was doing all the pictures and doing all the CRs, and we found that...
I started it.
But you weren't doing it correctly. I mean, let's call it the way it is. I mean, so then Barb said, we're not selling because X, Y, and Z. Now, maybe not all on his shoulders, but he was doing it the old school way, right. The way people were, used to buying cars. But we don't need a frontline ready, top hat special. We don't say that anymore. I mean, people don't use that kind of terminology anymore. Brass hat, whatever it may have been. Clean car. It just people just want the details.
Yep.
They want good pictures. They want to know exactly what the hell's wrong with it, and then that's it. Once we switch the process to having you come and do it, and the fee for doing it is nominal, right, versus what anywhere else charges. we saw it switch. I mean, you can say that.
And it's less work for you.
And it's less work. It's less work.
Yeah.
It gives them time to do other stuff like buy, which is what we need. Every group needs buying. So that's where we are today in this process. It's been fun. And I liked being in and kind of at the ground floor. Not that I was like the ground floor guy, but now we're growing with you, which is fantastic.
Yeah, right. And every additional buyer we bring on just strengthens the marketplace, and you guys are crushing it, which is really cool to see.
We're doing good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, that's really all I've got. I don't want to take up too much of your time. If you guys have any final thoughts, and if not, that's okay too. But
10 to midnight when we run the most cars. 10 to midnight.
10 to midnight. Yeah, it seems to be like the sweet spot. 9 o'clock. East Coast 9 o'clock. People get the car business doesn't stop. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. It never stops. It constantly goes. And there are people buying and selling cars 24 hours a day.
Yep.
And the internet's changed the way that happened. You used to have to go everywhere and be at some place at a certain time, or else you get picked over by another guy, and that doesn't happen anymore. A guy could be on the couch having a glass of wine with his family at home and buying cars and making money doing it, and selling cars and making money doing it. And and not to say that I do it on vacation, but you could essentially.
No, we definitely have guys that
you could
buy cars on the beach and on the golf course. And
I was in Nashville launching cars.
Yeah, he was. He was on vacation
in Nashville
doing
launching
it.
cars.
And that's the beauty of the program, because Bruce is here. Yep. He has his marching orders. We have buckets for him. He knows which buckets to take out of and what to put them back in, and then
for the keys.
Yep, he puts them all in line. We have a beautiful spreadsheet that Barbara and corporate, I think, probably updates daily. So we know where the car is going, who's bought the car, how much I got for the car, and then between the ACH process and the title process, all our title clerks get emails now, and our accounting office gets emails. So
that car
we don't have to
out before it leaves the property.
Yeah. So we used to have to fax everything and copy and email, and it was a nightmare. So now with a push of a button on your end, my whole organization gets what they need to have. It's right there in black and white every morning, and it's just there's no questions.
No, communication's key, and we know we're not perfect, but we work really hard to, number one, be accessible, and then just when stuff happens, we're going to work through it together. And you guys are great about answering your phone and being responsive, and we really try and do the same, and I think it pays dividends, because any of these paperwork issues, car issues, anything, right? They're always easier to squash when they're small. You let stuff go for 2-3 weeks, and then it's a blow up. But
Absolutely.
So we work hard at that. So.
I appreciate everything you guys have done for us here, and we're going to continue to grow and continue to work at it.
Awesome. Maybe I'll load this question up to both of you then. Being that we're all kind of older school car guys, and you guys were hesitant, any advice you would give to the next dealer that I go talk to in Texas, who's in the same position that you guys were a year ago, thinking about it, I'm not sure, I'm not ready?
I'll let Joe answer this because he's the foot on the ground type guy.
I'd say give it a shot. We did, and it helped us out. I mean, we're growing constantly, so I would give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Yeah, the best advice is, this is the way the car business is going. Everything's online. People are buying cars online. Nobody wants to waste time anymore. Everyone wants to just get what they need to get done and then move on to the next project. I didn't want to do it because we had our process. Our process was working great. This process adds another layer to what we do as an organization. We wholesale cars. That's what we do. Now we're wholesaling cars online, which is something we never really had. We had OVE but it was like
8 years ago, if you came to us and asked us what we would be doing in the future, I definitely wouldn't have said this, and I'm sure he wouldn't have said it either.
Your process works. Okay, you've got it down. You know what people are looking for. You know how to work it. You have your own dedicated people to take pictures of the car. It costs absolutely nothing, zero time on anyone's hand to have you come in and load a car and put it up for auction and see what happens.
Right.
I mean, that's it.
Where's the downside?
Where is the downside? There is no downside for someone else doing a job for you, and you just sit there and watch and say, wow, it worked. Yeah. No kidding. It does work. That's
Awesome. Awesome. I think that's great. I heard what I wanted to hear. So, so thank you guys. And I'll let you guys get back to your busy day. But
Yeah, man.
this was great.